Hello. I hope you're all having a wonderful time getting ready for Christmas. I am. I'm ready to go and have some fun and change the energy and the atmosphere. You know, with so much happening online and in this world, I know that all of us are under so much stress and have real concerns too. If you had ever listened to any one of my videos in the past, you would know that, while I do, have some religious belief. I mean, of course I do. I mean, I believe in the Savior. I am not a Bible thumping religion pusher. I mean, I can give you my testimony and I can tell you how I feel, but I'm not somebody that is so over the top, playing that role. I don't do religion like that. No, I feel like mostly, I mean, I believe in sharing your faith if the subject comes up or, but I don't try to push my beliefs on other people, especially if it's unwelcome, right? I mean, I don't mind sharing how I feel, about religion or even politics for that matter. But, and which leads me to another question for you. If they're trying to change, YouTube to where people are not allowed to say how they feel about certain things, if they really do want to zip our mouths and keep us from having that freedom of speech and to inhibit our constitutional rights, that's huge. To be able to say how we feel about our leaders, or our preferences. And maybe, and I do believe that some of us could use a little tact when we, talk about these people. Sometimes I've been, I can get over the top and get upset. And, but as far as coming online and being able to, it's one thing if it's true, and if it's not true, it's called slander. If you say something about somebody else that's not true, you could get in legal trouble. You have to have some basis, and it can't be false AI or fabricated. And that's the danger of AI, right? Because if somebody wants to throw you under the bus, they can just create false evidence made to look real, like you did something that you really didn't do. And that's what happened to me. They are trying so hard to throw me under the bus. It's ridiculous. And they don't want to know who I am. They want me to be the community villain. But I'm not, and I'm not playing that role because that's not who I am. I'm not trying not to be a villain. It's just that I am not a villain. And I believe in the Constitution of the United States of America. I know by now that the people that really do take the time to actually listen to me know that that's true. And that I, obey the laws of the land. And in the minute that we lose that Constitution, our hands are tied. And if anybody has taken the time to actually listen to what I stand for, you would know already, I don't want Christian nationalism. No, I don't. Because the full scope of that Christian nationalism is so strict and unrelenting. And I understand why the Christian people, want that, because the internet's, and it can be. The internet can be unsafe. It can be. But when it infringes upon the beliefs and the businesses of others and takes away their human and civil rights, that's different. Now, it's okay to have, policies and guidelines, right, that keep us, within the parameters of, actually it could keep us safe. So, you don't want to slander somebody, because if you do, you're going to be likely in legal trouble, right? So you don't want to go there, right? And a lot of people have slandered me. A lot of people have twisted and turned the person that I actually am to mold me into somebody I'm not. And you've heard this before. I am so tired of saying anything because you don't want to listen. People don't want to listen. They want to create their own agenda, and they don't listen. Because if they did, they might find out that they've got a lot in common with somebody. And they just didn't know any better because somebody was jealous because of whatever that person can do, right? Instead of, paying attention and focusing on growing themselves, they would rather waste all of their time to come after someone instead of just being an honest person. Which, believe me, if that's what it takes to make people start behaving in honest ways, hey, I'm all for that. But if you'd heard me earlier on, I decided a long time ago that I am a nonpartisan. I don't play party politics. And believe me, this subject has nothing to do with the left or the right. Okay? They're all in that. They kind of all are getting on board with the same agenda as far as the Christian nationalism, making sure that we don't have our freedom of speech in certain or in certain platforms, and that we're restricted. And to an extent, don't you think that would be good if people were completely verbally slandering each other and fighting? Or they could get a mob together and come after you? Because that's what they did to me. You'd think that I'd be all over that, right? That I'd want, to be strict rules. But we don't want the rules to be that strict. Yes, there needs to be parameters of law and conduct that we expect of ourselves. We're not children here, okay? We're adults. We shouldn't have to be guided to be a certain thing, to behave like, adults when we are supposed to be adults. And there has to be a code of conduct. Oh my goodness. In every industry. Let's be honest. Let's take God right out of it. And let's just talk about a code of conduct. Where people are treated fairly. I think that that's really what matters to me. I pray, when I pray, and I do get on my knees. Jesus Christ, the Lord, He's been with me since I was a little kid. I've never been a hyper-religious person, ever. If you knew me, I've prayed, I've been prayerful, and I have sought Him out, and I always go to God. I always do, because in my life, I had to, because I had been through so much. God, I've been in situations that were so dangerous and so unheartening and so cruel, and so unsafe, that really that was the only thing I had that would just keep me grounded in peace and love, is to be able to get on my knees and ask Heavenly Father, Jesus Christ, to be with me and help me to see things clearly. But never, never, never would you catch me out there telling you what to do. Never, never, never do I have it on my lips every single second to where, it's kind of sickening, right? I'm not a Bible peddler, but I do have faith. I do have faith. I know it. Yeah, I do have faith. I have this balance, right? I don't go off the deep end. And right now, with this campaign, okay, this is another thing. It's really, it just ticks me off, right? It's those people that put on these religious masks and they pretend to be something they really are not. They pretend to, they say they want Christian nationalism because it's so strict, but it controls people. And if you knew, if you go and you read the scriptures and to see, if you wanted to, you would find that Jesus gave people free agency, right? So let's just take let's just take religion out of it, okay? Because I'm not here to preach to anyone. I want to talk to you about, the fundamentals of right and wrong, legal, illegal, constitutional rights, or I guess they said there's no constitutional, it's either your civil rights, human rights, freedom of speech, that are afforded us based on the U.S. Constitution of the United States of America, which, believe me, is the only thing that we have to keep us safe. Now, there's some people out there, you know who you are, that were so arrogant, so confident that I would just come back and kiss their butt and they could do whatever they wanted to me. And they found out really quick, that ain't true. You want to step on my human and civil rights? Ooh, no. And people, that didn't do their homework found out that, I'm not going to go along with something like that. Nope. And okay, let me ask you. Okay, I promise you, if somebody were doing illegal surveillance on you based on lies. Nobody did their due diligence. Nobody did their homework. It was all conjecture and jealousy and people making up this big, bold-faced lie and fabrication. And no one took the time to make sure. You want to know why? Because they already knew I was innocent. They knew I was innocent of any crimes. They knew I didn't have a criminal background and I wasn't harming anyone. Don't you know they already knew? Because if I had been bothering anyone, don't you think that the police would have come over at least questioned me? They never even did that. These people knew exactly what they were doing. This was a setup, a plot, and a plan. And you can't just put up cameras in somebody's home. You can't just come in their door and steal their stuff, their clothes, so that you can wear them and pretend like you're them, or go into their garage and steal tubs of stuff, or a serger, or personal belongings of a person. Yes, we've all had crappy roommates before, but my roommates in Saratoga Springs, they had to come into the garage to steal things from me. How did they do that? Did my ex go to Prime Storage and give them a fake power of attorney to go into my storage? No, I don't think they did, because only my son and I had the keys. So it had to be in Saratoga Springs roommates, right? Or landlord, right? Somebody that had access to the garage. I'm not going to, why in the hell would I let people just get away with shit like this? And I can move along with my life and try to, keep going and all that. But you have to know that the people that orchestrated this, you have to know that I know what my rights are. You obviously, you didn't do your homework. You didn't find out who I am. And that I'm not as ridiculous as you were led to believe. Sorry. The fam fooled you. That's not my fault. I'm not kissing your butt because somebody fooled you. No, but I do know this. If somebody is in your home and they are watching you get undressed in your private time, and I've said this before, and their gross little beady little eyes are on you, or you've got a group of people having a great old time partying at your expense, watching you on CCTV, laughing, carrying on, and never once considered the horror of what they were even doing. I'm not saving you. Oh, hell no. No, move right along. If you did something, that isn't my problem or my fault. Okay? I can forgive the ones, that finally woke up, maybe they finally, But the thing is that, the ones that orchestrated this thing, whoever hired you, you ought to be telling people, this is what my assignment was. This is who told me to do it. This is who gave me the money to do it, so that we can really get to the root of things. That would help so much if we could all just get to the root of the matter of who hired who to hire who to come after me. I want to know. Or any other reader. I'm not a reader. I just have the evidence because, I recognized what was going on a long time ago. And I already knew it was happening to me. And plus I know these people. It's easier for me because I actually know the energetic signature of a lot of these people. Some of them I don't know at all. Maybe if I saw them, I could kind of figure it out. But I don't waste my time trying to figure that out about people. But I do know the ones that I know and what they're capable of. I'm sorry that somebody tricked you and pulled the wool over your eyes to make you think that I'm somebody I'm absolutely not. But if somebody wants to get you to commit a crime and they're the boss and you still know intellectually and morally and spiritually, physically, in your heart of hearts, it's wrong. It still is kind of up to us, right? It is, and we can say, and it's true. People are coerced by powerful people all of the time. And there is a real danger in coercion. It leads people down down a path that sometimes we can't come back from. And how fair do you think that would be if you don't even say or tell who it was that set you up to do it in the first place? All of this, if you're going to go down, why not tell him the guy that put you in that spot? That's what I do. I would just say, well, my boss told me to do it, yes, it was wrong, but but he's my boss and we're buddies, right? So if you're friends with your boss and, me, what? I really did care and respect my bosses. I did. They could have asked me to do something that, I don't know. I can't remember of anything really. But if they had, I don't recall doing anything. I don't remember if I ever did anything that would compromise the law, At least not wittingly, knowing that I was doing something like that. The thing is that when you realize that the most valuable thing, well, two things. The most valuable thing you have in this whole world is your good name. And the second one is freedom. Your good name, self-respect. You're not going to let anybody trash your name. But if they don't like you, that's okay. But they can't come in and slander you, harm you, put their beady little eyes on you when you know they're watching you. And no matter what you say, you can feel them looking at you, being, sexually weird, because I heard about that. Because everybody was being watched that was doing this to me. So they know what kind of, what you were doing, right? And to know what people were doing while they're watching you, especially before I figured it out, or even after I figured it out, and how, creepy it is. And just like, how you just want to scrape their crud off. Crud, go away. You just want to get the whole feeling of somebody else being a voyeur. Really, that's what they were. They put themselves where it could look like an illegal surveillance, but people that weren't even in the FBI were watching. Yeah, everywhere. For, some sort of, reality TV? For you smugs, or smutty people, you know who you are. And it's just like, there's some people that are really, why would anyone think that was going to be okay and that would just turn out well? No. Oh, how it, and you can't even tell me. You know what? If it happened to you, I know. I mean, maybe you are not the kind of person I am that's willing to stand up for yourself. Maybe you would do just anything to have, famous people near you. But not me. I have to live with me at the end of the day. I am the one that has to ask myself how I feel and how important is my own emotional and mental health. It's so important to me that I'm not willing to let somebody else come along and trample all over my good name, my self-respect, or set me up to lose my freedom. You might want to consider what I'm saying. And none of what I'm saying has anything to do with religion, okay? None of it. Just because I happen to believe in Jesus Christ has absolutely nothing to do with how much I value the Constitution of the United States of America. And I don't care if somebody wants to throw another person under the bus because you misled me. No, you misled. No, you did. And they're all fighting with each other because they all did it. and the big guy who wants to, save his reputation, which I don't blame him. But you know what? The thing is that, we all, we have to protect our own reputations. And to be so arrogant to think that I'm this person and I'm so great. I can just do whatever I want to because I'm famous. No, you can't, Each one of us have that inalienable right. And we own our good name. We own it. It's ours. Whether it's our actual name or not, it's our name. And I'm not giving anybody free passes to tell me who I am. Okay? I do not believe in Christian nationalism. I don't. There's too many differences. It isn't fair because there would be a bias in a courtroom. It's not fair. And I don't believe in it. I said that probably in my first videos, that I do not think there should be Christian nationalism. And the true essence of Christian nationalism is so strict that nobody would be allowed to say anything or do anything on any, they would want to kind of like make it a more of a microscopic, looking for something to get on somebody. And if they couldn't find this is what they did to me, couldn't find anything, they would make it up as they went along, right? Oh, we'll find somebody that looks like her. We'll make her, we'll make her look like a whore if it's the last thing we do. Oh, and maybe in 2026 I won't be able to say whore, which is fine. Okay, prostitute. Will I be able to say prostitute? Because I've never been one. And to use my videos to tweak, twist my words to make me somebody I'm not could come back and bite you in the ass if you're lying. Now, it's different if you're giving testimony. I had to come on here and talk to tarot readers and leave messages for agents, investigators to get my testimony. You want to know why? Because the courts made sure I didn't get my court papers so that I could show up for myself. This has been going on for over 10 years now, and my family has been stealing from me since I was just a kid. And I've still yet to know exactly all the details involved. And you would think, okay, you remember I left a message, I don't know if you saw it on my channel. Down the street, like, a few miles away, 10 minutes away, we have the largest spy center at Camp Williams in the world. Don't you know that this whole crime could have been solved like less than a year? And it's been years. Come on. So, they've had more than enough time to know exactly, yeah. There's no way to, like the cartoons where all the spiral go around in your eyes so you don't know what's going on. That's how most of us walk around. Like, we don't know what's going on. But if you knew that right down the street, somebody could zoom in on your house and look right in your bedroom, watch you and your husband hook it up, you better believe that they can. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about the military being able to come into your bedrooms and watch you and your, yeah. They can. Right now, today. So, yeah, now you have to know that it's not just me it's happening to. They've got footage on you too. Congratulations. You're so smart. But, I'm just telling you how it is because I am so tired of being preyed upon. I'm so tired of people telling me who I am without even knowing me, without even asking me any questions. I believe in the Constitution of the United States of America. I do not believe in Christian nationalism, although I do believe in Jesus Christ. That's who I pray to. I believe in everything he stood for. But I am not this Bible peddler. I'm not. Yes, I have very powerful intuition. I might have some I could have some extra gifts, but I am not somebody that's trying to be the epitome. I mean, I am a good person. I want to be good. It isn't like I have to, I'm not trying to be good. I want to be good naturally. It's just, I came packaged that way. It's in my manufacturing. And so, and I know that not everybody is made that way. But I happen to be. No, I'm not perfect. Thank goodness. You know what? You know why I wouldn't want to be a Bible peddler or a prophet or anybody like that? Because you know what happens to those people? Especially the ones like the big evangelists and the people that go proselyting everywhere. The very minute they do the slightest thing wrong, the minute they've got any problems in their marriages, the minute they do anything sideways whatsoever, they're under so much scrutiny. The media would just focus right on them. They're never free. They have no room to even be human beings or even make mistakes. There's no way I want to be put in that position ever. No, that isn't who I am. That is not who I want to be. No, I'm not here to prove to you how perfect I am, because I promise you I'm not, and I do not want to be. I don't. But I believe in being honest. I believe in being moral because I don't want to get some disease. And because, I care about myself. I want to have, good relationships. I don't want to have relationships where people cheat on each other and unfaithful. And if that kind of belief, traditional belief, aligns with Christianity, great. That's not a problem for me. Because I feel like, I want relationships that mean something, that are fake. I know that if there's any foundation, any kind of God-fearing foundation in place, that people, even when they're tempted, would be less likely to act on those things if they realized if they would think through the consequences. Number one, that'd be a huge, thing, good advice. Think through the consequences. If I do this, what's going to happen, right? But it's deeper than that. Even if you were unfaithful and that your spouse never found out, you would know. Of course, the other person would too, and so that could get out, right? But you would know. You would know. And it would start to weigh on you. Every time you're dishonest and you don't conduct yourself with integrity, you're setting yourself up. So if you've done something out there to set yourself up and your own good name up, I had nothing to do with that. It is my choice who I want to hang with and who I do not. Okay? And forgiveness is one thing, but I can still decide based on the creepiness of knowing that certain people watched me. I don't want you around me anymore. I know what you did, and I'm grossed out. Yeah, I'm grossed out. Sorry. No. It's too much. My rights matter to me. My privacy, your privacy. If it was the other way around, if I had done to you what y'all had done to me, I would be in jail by now. Why are you walking free? That's what I want to know. Because it's not right. It's not fair. Because I know for sure that if it had been me, I would be in trouble with the law. I'd be in jail. I would have to be answering for myself. And if I didn't want to take accountability, I would be forced to, because people would know the truth. They'd have the time stamps, date stamps, know what people said, know what people did. And I can forgive, I can, but I am not aligning with people that orchestrated something that's so gross and cruel and thoughtful, or thoughtless. You were never thoughtful. I don't think you understand what that actually means. And so maybe and I'm not talking to everyone. I'm talking to the ones that actually targeted me. And it was all about money and not finding out the family secrets and the truth and all that. But the longer that this has gone on and perpetuated, the greed just kept them going. They didn't care about me or how I feel or my kids or anything. Well, guess what? I care about me. And since you feel fine about going on and on and on, I'm going to stand here and care about my life and my kids. And either you can catch up with that or move along, okay? Because I'm not putting up with it, all right? And neither should anyone have to. And you shouldn't be throwing other people under the bus if you led them into something really crappy. That's on you. It's not my responsibility to clean that up for you. No. I can't. Even if I tried, I couldn't, because there would be a trail. There's nothing I can do when somebody else is an adult and they make a decision beyond what I can do to help them. Now, coercion is a thing, okay? And if you were led into something by a boss or a leader of some sort, you need to say something. You need to speak up, because that matters. It does matter. Of course it does. So anyway, I leave that with you. Don't be throwing people under the bus that especially the ones you don't know. And don't take people's word for it, because you don't know what their agenda is. And maybe they're feeling jealous, or, they're trying to, they're actually trying to take control over me, over my life, my future. They want to kind of, steal and manipulate me. But you know what? If they came in normally, then yeah, we could make money together. But that's not what they wanted to do. Nope. They wanted to be in control of everything. no voice. Take what's hers and then be your boss. No, you're not taking what's mine and then be my boss. Kiss my butt. Oh, hell no. I don't know what you're smoking. And they must be in California or something because they can smoke there, but we can't here. Which, you know, I don't really care about that. Anyhow, you have a nice evening. Take care.